I don't know what we're called anymore. Yeah, it's a work in progress. Yeah, yeah, we're figuring it out, you know? It's, baby steps, baby steps. Huh, your illegitimate children? Mm, I suppose that is rude to say about illegitimate children. I don't know where this is going. This whole joke's just going. This is a surprise to me. No, I don't listen. You know, my mom's gonna call me later and be like, "Amanda was a kid?" And I just doxed you, by the way. Or it got dark. You're one of the Disney variety, huh? I don't know where that whole intro is going. My brother is going to whine about it later. He'll be like, "That intro didn't make any sense at all." Um, you just doxed him again. Yeah, well, we're just doxing people. That's what we do. This is going off the rails so quick. Hmm. Rewatchability. If the show's good, I'll rewatch it. Well, actually, that's actually more complicated than I thought. So I find there are some shows that I'm like, it's easy to rewatch this, and then other shows, even if I really, really enjoy them, nah, I won't watch it again. And hmm, um, actually, I don't like some days I'm just in the mood, like, huh, I feel like going and rewatching Kaguya-sama. I feel like rewatching is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Is it wrong? And just various other shows. Then there are shows like Attack on Titan, which are objectively good. That I'm like, I'm not doing that again. I'm scared. I've yet to find one. Hmm. Yeah, I've yet to find one. It might be that it's a happy-go-lucky, but it's never been a active thing in my mind where it's like, "Oh, I'll never rewatch that show because it's depressing or whatever." It's just, I don't feel like rewatching it. Mm. Mm. No. Hmm. Do you reread books? Interesting. So it's just the visual to a certain extent. Uh, okay, I guess to interrupt you there. I'm an odd duck in the sense that I feel guilty when I'm rewatching a show because to watch something is to necessarily not watch something else, at least in that moment. Yeah, so I'm sitting there. I have a watch list that is miles deep at this point in time with shows that I'm like, I know I'm going to enjoy that show. I know I'm going to fall in love with that show, but I'll watch it in a little while. But then I'm going back and watching a show I've already watched. So it's like I almost guilty because I'm like I'm not willing to experience new things, but I'm going back to same old, same old. Yeah, I know you stalk my activity on Crunchyroll. This is sounding creepier. It's sounding creepier. Well, I guess it's better than you texting me at like 10 o'clock at night, like, "Hey, show recommendation. Hey, hey, show dealer, come on. I need an upper and I need a downer." Yeah. Then you have shows that are palate cleansers. That's a special category. Okay, so this is how I stumble onto like hidden gems. I'll watch, oh, that's kind of serious or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of make me a little depressed. Or it's something that like gives you like an emotional high. I'm like, okay, I just need to I guess cool off, shall we say? So I'm like, okay, that looks like a C minus C plus show, right? Not terrible, but not great. So let's just watch that because I can shut off my brain, right? And then, oops, I love it. Indeed. Nope. Thank you. Um, hmm, probably not. For me, they tend to be disproportionately romance and isekai. No, no. Um, ecchi shows tend to be just absolute terrible. It's the same problem that political shows have, that they use their politics or religion or ecchi in this case, right, to hold them up, right? And that doesn't work. So unless you're like diehard into that thing, ecchi, the politics or something like that, you will inevitably realize that the show has huge, huge flaws in it. Now, there are a few exceptions to that. My Dress Up Darling is a fantastic show, etchy as fudge. Mm, exactly. That's exactly the problem. Yeah, and it's difficult because it's like I think we do that a lot in life, right? So maybe I don't know if this is true or not, but I would suspect that a corporation that says we need a product that does A, that they rarely get that product. Uh, yeah, I have a similar thing to research because I write articles effectively part time for monies. Um, Not a lot of monies, but monies. Um, And a big problem I have doing research, and this is why, of course, they teach you in college and all that stuff, that you do your research first before coming to conclusions. Because I have a end goal. Let's say I'm writing a little biography of Sir Francis Drake, whatever. You get diverted into an argument over, like, let's say, how involved was he in the transatlantic slave trade, right? And that brings you down a rabbit hole, and you're like, crap. Mhm. Yeah, and that's where the problem becomes, so I guess, like, winding it back to anime a little bit, um, it's I think stories are written so J.K. Rowling, who is controversial big figure now, describes how she first came up with the story of Harry Potter. She was riding on a train, and she just had an image of a boy named Harry Potter, and then that's just where it started, and then she just what? You poor uncultured heathen. You better be. Yeah, and it went from there. And I think that's what happens with a lot of stories is you have to make room for I guess, the winding nature of a journey, right? And I think that's what, like, for example, what happened with Game of Thrones, for example, is the producers of the show had the benefit of having the books. But the story was not completed because J.R.R. Martin has not completed, um, was it A Song of Ice and Fire yet. And so they had to come up with an ending that was satisfactory to the entire story, but because they're not the author, and they're probably not genius writers, no offense to them, of course, they couldn't do it. Uh, Mhm. Mhm. Oh, captain, oh, my captain. Interesting. It's kind of like, oh, who's that astronomer that's always on the no, astrophysicist who's always on Joe Rogan. What's his name? No, no, crap. What is he? Like science is cool kind of guy. Yeah, he's very popular. Crap. Neil deGrasse Tyson, good gravy. Um, yeah, I know. Yes. Um, almost unironically. Um, he had a quote, and I can't remember exactly how it goes, but to paraphrase it, it was like, yeah, you have to know just enough about a subject to like kind of understand it, but not enough about the subject to realize that you don't understand it at all. And I think that's where you're at because, for example, I remember when you were reading like Anna Karenina, crap. Yes, yes. You just dived into that book, never to return, right? W My rant? My wrench? What? Yeah. Huh. That's very odd because it's like I when I rewatch a lot like Summer, I'm always amazed by oftentimes the banter or the animation or something like that. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just like, this is a comfort food. I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it, and I'm seeing new things in it. We're already deep, dude. Um, so for me to like be able to like stick with it for long periods of time, it has to have some visual oomph to it. Like, do you remember the show Ranking of the Kings? We watched it indoor. Yeah, yeah. That has such a unique visual style, and it just sucked it in. And then there are shows like Toradora or Kaguya-sama that have just such a clean, slick animation that they go way over the top, and they don't need to, but do. That just sucks me in. It's kind of like with music for me, right? Like a must for me is you have to have a good vocalist. You must. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. I think it's a song. I have several, OPs downloaded on my phone. I wouldn't go that far. Pop, just got pop. Oh, hmm, I think I'm the opposite in a sense. Well, so I love, content as well. I'm a, infovore, as we would say, right? But, like, I can go to a restaurant, for example, and I order the same thing almost every single time. Yeah, because I know it's gonna be good. I know I'm gonna enjoy it. And so I think it's the same thing. So I just find it is very odd, for example, that you don't do that with visual stuff because you are a obsessive person when it comes to like your routine. Like even when those routines hurt you, you would still keep doing them. And it's both a good thing and a bad thing. So for example, it doesn't freaking matter how much sleep you got, you're going to the gym, right? You're going to work, you're doing all these things, right? But to a certain extent, like you go to the gym even when you're injured. Hmm. Mm. Yeah. Hmm. Gummies. Hmm. 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 No, I don't think you're wrong. So I think I actually move on from a lot of shows that I watch. So you can see my watch history, for example. There's a lot. It's littered with shows I didn't finish, right? Um, and I think a bit of that is if I don't see the obvious utility or, well, not even utility, value in them, I kind of just like meh, move on. Mm, mm, hmm, hmm. I guess it's just being willing to tap, so to speak, right? I usually try to give a show a chance, right? Like I'll watch practically anything, to be honest with you. Like I don't like, but if I'm like, this show is not singing to me, then I'm done. Like so, for example, show. So I guess for a good example would be Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie, who is a really hyped up show that came out last year, I believe, the summer, and it was so hyped up, and people preemptively gave it like 5 stars, and so it got boosted really high in the ratings. Right? I watched like 3 episodes of that sucker, and I'm like, this is boring. And I believe my words in the review I put were beautiful but boring. But then there are other shows, for example, ooh, Demon Slayer or Fairy Tale, where some people actually say they're not good shows. I'm like, I enjoy the heck out of these shows. Um, can I think it's a can I connect to these characters, right? Do they mean something to me, at least on a very tertiary level, right? And then can I can I look forward to the story completing on some marginal level, right? Um, well, okay, so most stories have a like there's an end goal. So if it's a romance, like okay, it has to end with either the guy getting the girl or them not making it, right? Those are the only two options, right? Same thing for an Isekai. Like usually it's you gotta kill the demon king. And there are very few shows like Friends, for example, where it's like it's a show about nothing. But even then, it is a show about something because it's a show about everyday life of people in New York, right? Who apparently don't have to work very much because they're sitting in a coffee shop at 11 a.m. Um, and so it's like can connect to the story that they're trying to tell. Mm. Yeah, there are definitely some shows like that that obviously the connection is it's a prerequisite. It is necessary but not sufficient, I suppose, to use my philosophical training. Um, mm, great, relatable characters, good animation, good banter, conversations, etc. So the one problem I have with definitely older anime, especially, is that the conversations are so wooden that they don't feel human. And I think part of that has got to be the translation problems. But I've noticed more and more newer shows have excellent conversation, and it makes the characters feel very human. Um, it also depends on the genre. So, for example, I of all sorts of genres. I'm especially a fantasy nerd. I'm especially an isekai nerd. I like that type of stuff. Um, but can take or leave action, to be honest with you. And so I suppose, like, I was a long way of saying it depends on the show. I think we're close to out of time. I'd say we should, save it for a rainy day because these issues are not gonna be fixed, but I think we had a fun conversation. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. They're just staring at Nier Automata for an hour, and they're like, Are we ever gonna address the waifu in the room?" Oh. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can do a makeup stream. I guess to foreshadow, it addresses far more than the current problems, I think. Yeah, the delays. So delays are multifaceted. They yeah, yeah, and it's kind of a it's I get the sense without knowing all the inside knowledge, whatever, that it's kind of a long time coming in a sense. Yep, you're welcome.